जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपीजना बल्लभा गिरिवराधारी। गोपीजना बल्लभा गिरिवराधारी। यशोदनंदना व्रजजनरंजना। यशोदनंदना व्रजजनरंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपीजना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपीजना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदना व्रजजनरंजना। यशोदनंदना व्रजजनरंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan Radhe. Jai Gauranitai, 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 Jai Gauranitai. Jaya Jagannatha, Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Ashtotra Sata Shri Srimad Divine Grace Labai Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Ashtotra Sata Shri Srimad Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Shri Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की नवद्वीप श्री मायपुर धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा माँ यमुना माई की वृंद देवी तुलसी महारानी की श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution की जाए. The most merciful Lordship Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Shri Shri Gaunita Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani की जाए. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जाए. समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जाए. निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada की जाए. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 25, entitled The Characteristics of King Puranjana, text number 32. Narada Vacha Ittam Puranjanam Nari Ittam Puranjanam Nari Yachamanam Adhirava Yachamanam Adhirava Abhyanandata Tam Veeram Abhyanandata Tam Veeram Hasanti Veeramohita Hasanti Veeramohita. Narada Vacha Itham Puranjanam Nari याचमानम् अधीरवत् अभ्यनन्दत तं वीरम् हसन्ति वीरमोहिता नारद उवाच इत्थं पुरञ्जनं नारी याचमानम् अधीरवत् अभ्यनन्दत तं वीरम् हसन्ति वीरमोहिता नारद उवाच इत्थं पुरञ्जनं नारी याचमानमधीरवत् अभ्यनन्दत तं वीरम् हसन्ति वीरमोहिता. Anyone else? Narada Vacha Itham Puranjanam Nari Yachamanam Adhiravat Abhyanandatatam Veeram Hasanti Veeramohita. Any Matajis? Narada Vacha Itham Puranjanam Nari Yachamanam Adhiravat Abhyanandatatam Veeram Hasanti Veeramohita. Narada Vacha. The great sage Narada continued to speak. Itham upon this. Puranjanam unto Puranjana. Nari, the women. Yachamanam, begging. Adhiravat, being too impatient. Abhyanandata, she addressed. Tam, him. Veeram, the hero. Hasanti, smiling. Veera, O hero. Mohita, being attracted by him. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Narada continued, My dear king, when Puranjana became so attracted and impatient to touch the girl and enjoy her, the girl also became attracted by his words and accepted his request by smiling. By this time, she was certainly attracted by the king. Please repeat. Narada continued, My dear king, when Puranjana became so attracted and impatient to touch the girl and enjoy her, the girl also became attracted by his words and accepted his request by smiling. By this time, she was certainly attracted by the king. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. By this incident, we can understand that when a man is aggressive and begins to woo a woman, the woman becomes attracted to the man. This process is described in the Bhagavatam as Pumshastriya Mithuni Bhavametam. This attraction is enacted on the platform of sexual life. Thus, the sex impulse is the platform of material engagement. This conditional life, the platform of material sense enjoyment, is the cause of forgetfulness of spiritual life. In this way, a living entity's original Krishna consciousness becomes covered or converted into material consciousness. Thus, one engages in the business of sense gratification. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं, यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणाम्। श्री श्री गौनिताय श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। So we have been hearing the story of Puranjana. So Puranjana, when he saw this beautiful girl, so he addressed her by saying this, "My dear girl, your face is so beautiful with your nice eyebrows and eyes, and with your bluish hair scattered about. In addition, very sweet sounds are coming from your mouth. Nonetheless, you are so covered with shyness that you do not see me face to face. I therefore request you, my dear girl, to smile and kindly raise your head to see me." So, this is the previous verse. So, to this, the girl was very much attracted by Puranjana, and then she started reciprocating with his request. So, Srila Prabhupada is saying, by this incident, we can understand that when a man is aggressive and begins to woo a woman, the woman becomes attracted to the man. So this is the principle of material life. The whole material world is functioning on this principle, the principle of attraction between a man and woman or opposite sexes. And that actually gives rise to a more and more absorption in bodily consciousness. And that is how people divide in this whole world. Although everyone is son of Lord or child of the Lord, but the division happens because of this bodily consciousness. Thinking that I belong to one family, I belong to one caste, creed, nation, or a particular species. All these things are based on this bodily conception of life, and the bodily conception is basically because of attraction between male and female. So, how this happens from one stage to the other stage, a deeper and deeper absorption in the bodily consciousness. The Bhagavatam, 5th canto, it is describing, 5th chapter, 8th verse, Pumshastriya mithuni bhavametam tayor mitho hridaya grandhim apuhu atagraha kshetra sutapta vittair janasya mohoyam aham mameti. It's a very important verse in Srimad Bhagavatam because that defines the basic principle of material existence. When there is the attraction between man and woman, the first thing that they need is privacy. And because of that privacy, they have to start earning. The man has to start earning money for creating that kind of a privacy, because he has to have uh, an intimate life with his wife. So, ata griha, the first thing that is required. If a man is single, a woman is single, they don't require so much of privacy as such. But the moment they get united, either by the marriage or by otherwise, these days, these days it is more and more becoming prominent that the man and women are living together without even marriage principle, because they're afraid that if there are differences later, and then to get separated from the marriage situation is quite difficult. So better not to enter into marriage. As long as it works out for them, so they will live together. So living in culture is very prominent now. So graha is required, a private place is required. And then to maintain that graha, maintain the family, kshetra means you require a field. Field means you can uh, cultivate and get some food from the field. So, in the present scenario, you can say various things are there. You may do business, you may work. Uh, uh, in many ways, a man has learned to earn money. Once Prabhupada was walking in one city, I don't remember the exact city name, but he saw tall buildings, skyscraper buildings. And he said, all of these buildings are meant for sex life. That is what he said. In the sense, why such big businesses are required? Why such grand arrangement uh, for staying in this material world is required? The only impulse is that attraction between man and woman. There is no other impulse to live in this world. So that is why this world is called Maithuna Agara. Everyone is shackled by the attraction for the opposite sex. So, and this is so deep, uh, that is called Hridaya Grandhi. Hridaya Grandhi means it is so intertwined, it is so much occupied in our heart, that attraction. Uh, it becomes deepened, deeper and deeper with various other engagements. Like when you have house, when you have money to earn, ata gruha kshetra suta, then you will have children, and children will increase more bodily consciousness. Uh, it becomes much more difficult to not leave each other because of the children. We have seen in the present, not only present, any time, uh, even if they don't have attraction for each other later on, they realize that the attraction is gone, but now the attraction is transferred to the children. So ata griha kshetra suta, and then apta. Apta means other relatives and friends. When two people come together, the male family and the female family, they also get united. And there are various functions, family functions that people go and attend. This marriage, that annaprasana, this one, that one, so many functions. For each person, so many functions. Then all the families get together, and then they have an idea that this is our family, this is their family. So like this, the material life expands and expands and expands. And then the next generation, oh, this is my son, and then this is my grandson, and this is my, vamsha, this is our vamsha vriksha. Ah, what not. Uh, all this go on and on and on. So, in this way, material life becomes more and more expanded. And it's very, very difficult to cut that knot. So, what is the result of that? The result is dissension, division, and fighting with each other. This is our family, this is their family. Like even Arjuna, even in such an enlightened state, when he saw in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he saw this is our army, this is their army. That is how he saw. Uh, so that is very natural. When we have this body, it's very natural to identify with relations with this body. It is Krishna's arrangement that when we have children, the children will be similar like us. They will have some attributes, they will have some bodily features of the man and women, so that they can be attracted to the children, and then this material life deepens. If they're totally different, who will be attracted? So even animals, they have certain attraction for their children. So that is very natural. That is what his bodily consciousness is. And once that happens, then the real original uh, consciousness, which is called Krishna consciousness, is covered. It is converted into material consciousness. Our original consciousness is that we don't belong to this world. We don't belong to a particular family, a particular country, a particular race. We actually belong to Krishna. But we have completely forgotten that, because the immediate circumstances, immediate family traditions, immediate family whatever that we have, that overpowers our consciousness and it covers our consciousness, and we tend to think that we are this, we are Indians, we are Pakistanis, we are British people. And during the independence struggle, when these Britishers, the British army was lashing down upon the Indians and then they are beating them, Prabhupada said, brothers are fighting with each other. This was Prabhupada's expression. It's so true that one brother is fighting with another brother. But why they are fighting? They are fighting because Indians think that this is our territory, our race is different, and the Britishers think that our race is different. In fact, if you see the history books, it is very funny why we should not trust the history, because history is written by different perceptions of different people. For example, in 1857, you will find so many books of history talking about mutiny. There was a big mutiny in 1857. That was the first independence struggle that happened in India. And those happenings were noted in the history books. I happened to just flip through some of the pages, and I was shocked that those books which are written by the Britishers, they praise their generals as the great Deshabhaktas, and then the Indians as the terrorists. This is their history. And now you find some Indians writing the history. They portray these people, the freedom fighters, they are called as freedom fighters, and they are great heroes. And then the Britishers are such, such rascals. They are so, evil-minded, so bad. So the completely different, the portrayal of what Indians have done during that time or what Britishers have done at that time is completely different, because it is a prejudiced version of what actually happened. Because the Britishers think that we have given our life to this country to protect our sovereignty. And Indians think that we have given our lives to protect our sovereignty. Whose sovereignty? It is whose land this is. Just because you have occupied somebody, for sometimes some land, that becomes yours, or you live in a land for some time, that becomes yours. Whose land is this? Which race is your race? Bhagavatam says this, what is that? There is a beautiful verse in Bhagavatam describing about bodily consciousness. Yasyatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke Swadhi kalatradisu bhauma ijjati yattirtha buddhi salilena karjit janeshu abhijneshu saeva gokharaha. That how a person is degraded to an ass just by this bodily consciousness. Because he thinks that what is yasyatma buddhi, he identifies himself as made up of three material elements: mucus, bile, and air. Kapha, Vata, and Pitta. This body is made up of Kapha, Vata, Pitta. And that becomes such an important thing. He identifies, this is me. This is, I'm a handsome person. I'm a tall person. I'm a short person. I'm a white-bodied person. Like that, different people identify with the different things. And then they form an association by that. All Americans, all white Americans are separate. Black Americans are separate. Indians are brown skinned. Like this, various associations can happen based on the body. And the body is not just this body, there is subtle body. If your mentality is similar, then you will have another association based on the mentality. Theosophic society, this society, that society. So in this way, various divisions happen by this extension, either of the gross body or extension of the body. Yasyatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke. This body which is made up of three dhatus, you think that that is all yours. Swadhi kalatradishu. What do you think? You think that your family members are your protectors. Wife, children, or your own arrangements you make, and that is your protection. You forget that Krishna is our protector. Bhauma ijjadi means the land where you are born is worshipable. Mera Bharat Mahan. That is all right. Mera Bharat Mahan. But Pakistan Murdabad is not all right. Because one thing we must understand, any love which is expressed based on bodily consciousness, it is also associated with some hatred. Because that is not absolute love. This is my family. That means other family is different. No Vasudhaika Kutumbam. My family is important. Yes, your family is important in the sense you are given the duty to protect the people in your family as assigned by the Lord. That is all right. To that extent, that is fine. You show love. But hatred is not very good. So hatred is mandatory when there is material love. Because this world is full of dvandvas. Wherever there is one thing is there, the other opposite must exist on this bodily, bodily platform. Ichhadvesha samuthena dvandva mohena bharata. What is that? Next. Sarvabhutani sammoham sargeyanti parantapa. All the bhutas, all the living entities, they are put in this material world, in this creation, material creation, by these dvandvas. So, there is no absolute love in this world because our love is based on body. So, Bhauma Ijjati means my land is worshipable. So, anyone who attacks my land, why do you think it is your land? Why it doesn't become anybody's land? Because it actually belongs to Krishna. You have not created this land. Just because you occupied the land for some time, you become the owner of the land. Just yesterday, I read that there is a printing technology has become so massive that printing means not this printing technology. The technology itself is so big. Now they are using 3D printers to construct homes. 3D printers. Just like how you print pictures, similarly, huge printers, they are constructing to make homes or make buildings, quick buildings. So within 2-3 days also they can actually construct a big, huge building. And the pioneers are the Chinese. They are into this. And the US want to construct, they want to export this 3D printer to moon. And they want to construct houses there. Why they want to construct house? Because these astronauts who reach moon, they can stay in those houses and very closely observe the atmosphere in the moon. That is the whole idea. 1969, somebody went. After that, nobody has gone. Now again, they are thinking of going. So if that was actually true, then why they did not go till now? That's the question. First of all, exporting different technology, where will they find the power? Everything will be, probably based on batteries or the sunlight. Even the Vikram that is landed there, it rendered useless after 14 days because there is no sunshine there. And when there is no sunshine, the whole thing is dead. The whole battery is dead. Even now, the sunshine comes after 15 days. It cannot revive. The experiment, which lasted just for 14 days, and after that, nothing. The point I'm trying to say is that they're not only wanting to construct houses here, they want to construct houses everywhere in this material world. The idea is to permanently live, permanently maintain a certain sovereignty, certain ism, and everything is based on bodily consciousness. And bodily consciousness is based on attraction between male and female. So my land is worshipable. Bhaumajyati, Kalatradishu Bhaumajyati, Yatirtha Buddhik Salilena Karichit. Even such people, when they express some sentiment towards religion, that's also quite superficial. They only go to different punyakshetras only to take bath in holy rivers, but not interested to hear about the actual reality of life. The reality of life is not actually the bodily consciousness. The reality of life is that you don't belong here. You actually belong to Krishna. And you must return to Krishna, giving up this bodily consciousness. And what has to be given up? To give up bodily consciousness is attraction for the opposite sex. And here is a man, Puranjana, which is all of us. Puranjana is representing all of us. He is wooing that woman. And how to woo a woman also is mentioned here. You just simply praise a woman. The woman gets wooed. That's all. You should say, you are very beautiful. And what a false statement it is. Who is beautiful? Who is beautiful? They say, beauty lies in the beholder. For a pig, another she-pig looks very beautiful, na? Isn't it? If there is a beauty competition of pigs all over the world, just like beauty competition of the men and women all over the world, there will be judges. The judges must be much more degraded to assess all that, isn't it? If you want to find out who is the best ass, the judge must be better ass than the best ass. So similarly, the consciousness must be so degraded, it must be so absorbed in bodily consciousness to actually give titles that this is Miss India, Miss World, Miss Universe, or whatever it is. So if there is, there can be beauty contest amongst other living entities also. I'm the most beautiful parrot. I'm the most beautiful dog. Even amongst dogs also, there is sometimes a bazaar of dogs. Different kinds of dogs are brought, and then people pick up the best dog. So like that, there is a beauty, and the beauty depends on the beholder. In Telugu we say kaki pilla kaki muddu. The crow thinks that the small bird crow is very, very attractive and beautiful. And crow is not very beautiful. Neither its color is beautiful, nor its sound is beautiful, nor its work is beautiful. None of these things are beautiful. But the crow thinks that she is my person, my pet, my dear child. So everyone takes sides thinking that they are theirs. and others are their enemies. So the friend and enemy concept is actually based on bodily consciousness. And this is what is the material education is all about. When Prahlad Maharaj, he was sent to the Gurukula, the teachers taught him politics. Politics means dividing people as friends and enemies. And what is this basis of your friendship? As long as you are useful for my sense gratification, you become my friend. When you are against my sense gratificatory plans, you become my enemy. And they can shift anyway. They say in politics there are no permanent friends or enemies because anybody can convert into any party. The elections have to come, that's all, near. Now the election season is coming now. So now you see all kinds of jamela will happen now. Who will jump? They're like frogs from one place to the other place, to the other place, to the other place. So it's all based on mental speculation, based on bodily consciousness, based on convenience, convenience of the body, convenience of your own mata. So all of this, the origin of all of this is attraction for opposite sex. The moment we want to enjoy, as it is said, why should a man work hard for days and nights? What is his satisfaction? The only satisfaction is that he will have a wife at home and he can nicely associate with that wife. The wife will speak very nicely and she will serve nicely and she will give bodily happiness, so-called temporary bodily happiness. Prabhupada says this, that when a thief comes and plunders your wealth, you try to fight with that thief. But there is another thief that is sitting in your house in the form of your wife. She sweetly steals the money which is there in your pocket. Right? You don't allow anybody else to steal money from your pocket, but when she comes and she takes away money from your pocket, you feel very happy. The whole purpose of my earning is for you only. That's what we say. So she is an authorized thief. Others are unauthorized thieves. Why? Because of attraction. And Tulsidas says, what? Raat ka dhakni, din ka bhagni. I don't want to expand on that. Those who know a little bit, they can understand Hindi a little bit. Raat ka dhakni, din ka bhagni. It is not that we are making a sexist comment. It's just like a man is for a woman, woman is for a man. So it's both-sided. Because of that attraction, why we are attracted? Why we are not attracted to a she-pig? If we have to ask this one simple question. We are attracted to a female who is in the human body, but we are not attracted to a she-pig. Why we are, she is also female. But we are not attracted to a pig. Because in this impression that we identify ourselves with this male human body, and then when you see a female human body, you get attracted. And then as soon as you leave this body, you are put into another body, then that other opposite sex become attractive, and the same female body whom you are attracted to is no more attractive. So some common sense, even if we apply, we understand this is all just mental. It's just in the mind. And the same female who is very attractive to you, when she fights, then she becomes such a dangerous enemy for you. You know, they say the highest amount of hatred that is expressed to each other is in divorce courts or in family courts. This is the highest amount of envy that is expressed. They hate that other person like anything. The same person was so attractive. Your angelic beauty, just your eyebrows are so beautiful. Your nose is so nice. Your face is so beautiful. The same person becomes an unbearable enemy just because there are some differences of opinion. Is that not sufficient for us to know and realize that our whole conception of attraction is based on this body? So Shastra is very uh, is enlightening us that why we are stuck in this world because of this attraction between male and female. And it's not so easy to get out of male and female attraction unless one actually loves Krishna. Because it is said that there is love for Krishna. Kamayesha, Krodhayesha, Rajoguna, Samudbhavaha, Mahashano, Mahapapma, Vidhyena Ihavarinam. That the pure milk like attraction for Krishna, touched by a sour substance called passion, and because of which it became yogurt. Just like milk is touched by some sour substance, it becomes yogurt. So, pure milk like affection and love for Krishna is touched by the desire to enjoy independent of Krishna, has brought us here. And when we came here, there is a grand arrangement for everyone to enjoy independent of Krishna by creating 84 lakhs of species. And for all these species to enjoy, there is grand arrangement of material creation in millions of material universes. So this is, if we stay back and look at the whole creation and things that are happening in the whole creation, we see this is all a foolishness created by the living entity's desire to enjoy independent of Krishna. Once that desire is shut, then there is no need of material creation. You go back to Krishna and enjoy with Krishna. So it's easy to discuss these things, say these things in various ways, but when actually great personalities became victims of this opposite sex, great personalities, what to speak of ordinary people like us. And just by philosophizing this, one cannot get out of this. One can speak in very many ways. Remove the skin, then the person looks very ghastly. It's full of blood, pus, stool. That's what his whole body made up of. So many ways you can speak, but again the skin is put, again you will be attracted. Nobody goes on without skin. No? That is why God has created skin. Why God has created skin? God has covered the living entities with skin so that they should look attractive. So the solution to this is that one must hear from great saintly persons, realize this fault, the fault that we have made, the fault to enjoy independent of Krishna, thus leaving Krishna. And this fault can be rectified by, again, start loving Krishna. And loving Krishna or serving Krishna starts by sevonmukohi jivvadav swayameva spuradhyataha. Because this conception, material conception, is given by God when we wanted to enjoy independent of God. This can only be removed by God when we start serving God using the mouth. So when we chant Hare Krishna mantra, when we eat prasadam, slowly, by mercy of Krishna, this conception that I am an enjoyer, I am the master, I am the proprietor, will go slowly, and one actually comes to the point of Jivera Swarupa Hoy Nityara Krishna Das. It's a long journey, short journey, depending on our determination to get back to Krishna. Depending on our focus in hearing these transcendental truths from the acharyas and from the scriptures. I know that this is beyond my realization, but nevertheless, it's better to contemplate in these lines that by the mercy of Krishna and by the mercy of acharyas and Vaishnavas, that one day we'll get out of this bodily consciousness and not operate on that platform while even living in this body. It's very difficult not to operate. Even a self-realized soul sees a cricket match, let us say. Hypothetically, I'm saying. If he's Indian, he wants India to win a cricket match. Isn't it? Because that bodily, this Prabhupada says this is called skin disease. That skin disease is there. So it's not so easy. Krishna has to remove that. So these are some points. Are there any questions or comments anybody has? Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Very nice analysis. One point you made about the beauty, that a crow thinks that the crow's child is very beautiful, which is very true. Prabhupada says that kind of considering something to be beautiful is based on the material attachments. As soon as there is attachment, then from objectively you can see that this fellow has no beauty, but the other person is attached to this person, so considers beautiful. At the same time, objectively, if you look at the world around, some men are more handsome than others, outstandingly handsome, and some women are also beautiful. So one time His Holiness Kadamakanan Maharaj was telling, if a beautiful girl walks by, even a sannyasi can clearly see that she is beautiful. But he will clearly understand that this beauty is a display of illusory energy. And this cannot satisfy us. He is aware of that. While another conditioned soul will see the same beauty and fall prey for it. So why the beauty is present in this world? Because it's a perverted reflection of the spiritual beauty in the spiritual. So that is substance and this is shadow. So from this point of view, we cannot deny the existence of beauty in this world objectively. That was my point. What do you think about that?
I think, I touched on that point, that the beauty lies on the beholder. Again, as I said, I don't think any animal will see a beautiful girl and then think that, she's very beautiful. Because the animal is covered with that particular consciousness. Or for that matter, if even amongst human beings, let us say there is an African girl. She is very beautiful for the Africans. She may not be very beautiful for a white, skinned American. So your standard of beauty is basically limited to that particular, that particular species. So we cannot say objectively that is a person is beautiful.
That example is example for the first one. Due to material attachment, somebody thinks somebody is beautiful. Otherwise, even in the Shastra, there is comparison between the women on earth and women in the heaven and women in the spiritual world. There is a comparison of their
That's
beauties.
true. That's true. There is a standard of beauty. The standard of beauty is described. The Vaikuntha women's beauty is also described in the scripture, where the Vaikuntha women are, how they are. Isn't it? It's really funny that the beauty that is described in the scripture is no more beauty in the present day society. A woman is very beautiful when she is nicely, wears the sari and beautifully decorated with all kinds of ornaments, and that is considered very beautiful in the scripture. Now, if such a woman comes now to this world, where this half-naked mentality is there, that beauty is not considered as beauty. Gangiredhi means, the bull who is decorated with all kinds of, ornaments. Like that, they will thrash such women. It's very relative. I'm saying it's very relative. Now you think whatever beauty that is heavenly beauties that are described, so the modern men, they look very beautiful. They will not look beautiful. I think they will not look beautiful, in my humble opinion. They may not look beautiful because their beauty also based on what you wear, what you don't wear. So many considerations are there. So very degraded, low-class man will not like to appreciate a beautiful heavenly girl who's dressed nicely. Rather, he will be happy to see a half-naked woman as beautiful.
That is due to mode of passion.
That's what I mean. All the people in this world are either mode of, you will appreciate the material beauty only when you have mode of passion. A person in mode of goodness, as you said, if a sannyasi sees, even if a beautiful girl comes, because he is in mode of goodness, he clearly sees that although this person appears beautiful, but it is not enjoyable because it will degrade my consciousness.
In that connection, I had a question. Some verses before it was said, he is asking her, you look like goddess of fortune, and but you don't have a
What?
lotus. You look like goddess of fortune.
You look like goddess of fortune.
You look like Lakshmi, and you don't have a lotus in your hand, and your legs are not touching the ground. I mean, because for Lakshmi, the leg doesn't touch the ground, and she holds a lotus. But you don't have any lotus with you, and your legs are touching the ground, which goes to show that you are only an earthly woman. And then he is telling her, because you happen to be an earthly woman, you may be looking for a husband. You may be looking for someone who can fulfill all your demands and desires and everything. So then he claims himself to be the right person I can fulfill. So at that time I had one question there. This fellow is able to distinguish the two types of women. One is a spiritual goddess of fortune, who is not, one should not endeavor to enjoy her, because she is the Ardhangini of the Supreme Lord. She is supposed, she's a goddess,
Yes.
supposed to be worshipped. And this woman is not a goddess, she is an earthly woman. That much difference is able to make, which most of the modern people I really doubt.
Will not be able to.
They won't be able to. So
But
after,
still he is affected by passion.
Ah,
The point is that
yeah.
very advanced, like apuryamanam achala pratishtam samudramapa pravishanti advat kamayam pravishanti sarve shashanti mapnoti na kama kami. Even though the desires of material enjoyment flows, a man who is of steady mind, he will not be affected or he will not be agitated by those desires, but still they will come and touch him. Similarly, he is able to see the difference, that what is a heavenly, what is the angelic women of the or Lakshmi Devi, and what is ordinary person. But still he is attracted.
and he is telling her that I can fulfill all your demands and
Yeah.
I can provide.
Yeah,
So, which means he is considering the material energy is for his enjoyment,
correct.
rather than trying to connect Yukta
That means
Vairagya.
with all the knowledge, with all the realization, that what he seems to exhibit, still that is not working when it comes to, when you are affected by passion, it's not coming to your service. So that clearly shows that your so-called knowledge is not actually helpful. Only by God's mercy one can stop being attracted to material energy. So much of realization, so much of study of Shastra, so much of all these things will fall short when God removed that realization and then put that attraction in that heart. It's really scary, to be honest.
Actually, as you rightly said, this knowledge thing, there is one word used in Bhagavad Gita called vipaschit.
Vipashchita, purushasya vipashchita.
Yatatohya pikanteya purushasya vipaschitah indriyani pramatini haranti prasavamna. So there, in Chakravarti Thakur in the commentary says, just like paper, if you take a needle and pierce, it pierces. Whereas we have a mild steel plate, you cannot pierce. Similarly, our buddhi, afflicted by the vasana, is like a mild steel plate. Our sharp intelligence cannot penetrate it.
True,
You see.
absolutely.
So that means it goes to prove that knowledge of Viveka Buddhi is insufficient to help a person elevate beyond illusory energy. And one needs the attractive
Mameve
attraction of the Lord, a surrender to the Lord.
Mamevaye prapadyante mayametam tarantati. There's no other way out. It's really scary. The kind of illusion that we are covered with is really scary. And I don't think we can ever break out this illusion and come out without surrender to Krishna. Thank you for making that discussion. That Mataji behind.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Puji, then Mataji's, how do they can get wanted Krishna like children then?
Sorry, what is? How do Matajis?
Like with that, means how Matajis can become Mataji to get Krishna like children?
How do Matajis will be blessed by to have Krishna like children? If you have Krishna like husband, then you will have Krishna like children. That's the only way. If you have a very pure-hearted devotee husband, you can possibly think of very beautiful children. Beautiful in not only in just bodily features, but beautiful in consciousness as well.
There will be no attraction physically then in that case. It will be like,
Between whom and whom?
in that case, it will be like God or God.
I'm not getting you, sorry. Explain it. What do you want to say? Express it. There's no attraction between whom and whom? Husband and wife, you're saying? To get Krishna-like children. That's what you're saying? Well, there is attraction, because without attraction you cannot participate in that activity. You have to have attraction. But you know, you're conscious that this attraction is for service to Krishna. It is like when Arjuna was shooting arrows, he's not smiling and shooting arrows. He is very angry, but he knew that he is using that anger in service to Krishna. Similarly, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that karma which is not contradictory to religious principles is me. Dharma viruddho kamosmi. That I am that karma which is not against the dharma. That is me. So there is nothing wrong to have attraction between male and female if it is for producing Krishna conscious children. It's not that we are completely condemning the attraction between male and female. No. Although it is the basis of material existence, it can be dovetailed, converted, if it is for service to Krishna. So there is room for existence.
Very blessed. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Anything else? Thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Samveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.